Imagine you're a professional racing driver looking for your first ever victory. It's the final lap of the race. Victory is in sight, and then about 100 feet from the finish you hit the wall. And yet, you somehow still win. Well, that's exactly what happened this weekend during NASCAR's Whelen Modified Tour race up at New Hampshire. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what NASCAR's Modified Division cars actually are, the specifics of which will have to be its own separate video. They're insane, they're awesome, but for the sake of this video, we're going to give a really oversimplified explanation of what a modified is. Effectively, a modified is a stock car that doesn't really have fenders, but it still has that great big V8 up front, pretty simple suspension, and, well, it's obviously rear-wheel drive. Now, the upshot to this simplicity and relative low cost of a modified means modified racing happens all over the country. So you have everything from your weekly racers who go down to their local track every weekend during the season and compete in modified races. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have full-fledged national touring series like the Whelen Modified Tour. So when something like the Whelen Tour comes into town to your local short track, not only do you have the series regulars, but you also have the local boys looking to show the touring guys what they're made of. And the best part about it is pretty much all of them have a chance to win, and it leads to some pretty insanely awesome racing. And one last thing you need to know about modified is they're very, very popular here in the Northeast, which brings us back to the Whelen Modified Tours race at New Hampshire this past weekend. It was the 13th race on the tour's schedule, and going into the last lap, well, you had an epic battle between Tyler Ripkema and Justin Bonsignor. The two of them were pitched in heated battle on the last lap of the race, both of them fighting tooth and nail for the win. As they exited the final corner after beating and banging, Ripkema was in the lead. Victory was in his sight. He could see the checker, and he ended up getting put into the wall by Bonsignor. Now, usually when this sort of thing happens, especially when it's not right at the finish line, the guy in third place who had just watched these guys beat the holy hell out of each other swoops around and takes a relatively easy victory. However, in this case, it didn't happen. Ripkema, well, he had just enough momentum, even after hitting the wall, having his right front tire pretty much removed from the ground. He crossed the finish line first for a very, very unlikely first modified win of his career.